Hey, organizational dynamics. I made the rookie mistake of the year last night, and I forgot to press record before our Zoom class started. So this is going to be the Cliff Notes version of the lecture, which I'm sure some of you will truly appreciate, to help make it more effective. I'm not going to show all the video clips in this. I'm going to link them, so you'll have to click on a few things. But essentially, how we started is I went over what's the projects or the assignments for this coming week are due next Tuesday. They're pretty simple. Listen to chapter 3 of the Fred Factor. It's the recording. Hopefully it's not too miserable listening to me read you a book. I was trying to make it one less thing for you to read and just a little bit different format because I want to appeal to all of our different learning styles in the class. So listen to that. I want you to read chapters 4 and 5 of your textbook of organizational reframing organizations. And so read chapters 4 and 5 of that textbook. There is no immediate assignment for those chapters. That will be coming the following week. So you definitely want to read so you can build onto what you are learning. And then you're going to see something that's about the business as mission recording, which is from Global Vision Week. So last night, the topic was a gentleman from Business as Mission spoke for Global Vision Week. That recording should be up today. Today's Wednesday. It's 8:30 a.m. right now. So hopefully I'll have that within the next couple hours. I'm going to post that. And I want you to watch that recording and write a 250 to 500 word response. So hopefully that isn't too much. It should be pretty easy. I think there's some value in taking what that person says. So that's kind of what you can expect. The other thing is because you only really have some reading and that one assignment, I really want to encourage you to work on your book review. If you haven't started reading your book for your book review, start reading. It's due in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? I think 3 weeks, yeah. And so start reading that now. So this would be an easier week where you can kind of make up some of that time to read. I know I've heard from a lot of you that even though we're 4 weeks in, you feel buried because professors are all trying to figure out this online thing. I'm included. As you know, Moodle and I had a full-on battle this past week, and Moodle won. So I'm still trying to figure out how to use some of the different features on Moodle to try and simplify things, but I'm failing. So, but I also know that in that sense that this online learning stuff, some of the workloads are not balanced. So I wanted to take this week just to be hopefully a little bit of a breather for you. I don't want to stop and not give anything because you lose that momentum. So hopefully that makes sense. And so this past week for your reading and for the assignments, we talked about the structural frame of reframing an organization and what that looks like. And a couple of the things that I brought up and I want to bring up with you is there's a couple of companies that you may have heard of, and they used to be like the companies. They were famous. Their names were well known. In fact, their names were, in a sense, they were synonymous with other things. So like when we say, hey, I have a cold, I need a Kleenex, we know that Kleenex is the brand, right? What you're referring to is you need a facial tissue. And so that's what I was trying to refer to. And so one of the companies is you read about in your textbook is Kodak. And if you think about Kodak, it was the #1 company for film and for motion pictures, and they were really good with what they developed. And they were famous. There's the famous Kodak Theater in Los Angeles, Hollywood area. And now today, Kodak doesn't really exist. They're not what they used to be. You know, Sony and Panasonic and Canon have all surpassed them. And the reason being is Kodak didn't want to get into the digital camera game. See, they were making so much money and they had built their reputation on film and film cameras that when one of their own employees in their own research and development lab invented the digital camera, to quote your textbook, they were basically told by upper management, that's cute, don't tell anyone about it. You see, because in their minds, they said, if we start investing in this digital technology, all this money we're making in film is going to go away. And what they failed to see is that digital technology, that digital camera was going to be the way. Not trying to get all Mandalorian on you, but that was going to be the way. And so They missed that mark, and now when you go buy a digital camera, you don't buy a Kodak, you buy the Canon, you buy the Sony, you buy the Panasonic, whatever brand it is that you like. And so, and yeah, that was a business decision of where do we invest our money and our time, but also there's this upper management mismanagement. They weren't willing to change. They weren't willing to look at what they're doing and adjust it. Because what if they said, you know what, like let's spend 6 months, let's spend a year and create a side project with this digital camera? Where would it have taken them? Usually the first one in the race gets a big slice of the pie, gets a big slice of the market. So another company that did something as foolish as that does, but remember hindsight's 2020, is a company called Xerox. And you probably have heard it. It's the company with the funny name, starts with an X, right? Xerox. And they were known for selling paper, Michael Scott's favorite thing in the world. So as they were selling paper, one of their employees invented the interface for the screen and the computer mouse that we use today. And whether it's our trackpad or an actual mouse that we use for use our computer, they invented one of the very first concepts for that, which Microsoft and Apple jumped on, and as we know their success, they've just blown up. Well, Xerox, they saw that and they said, no, we don't like that. We're a paper company. And if we make something that promotes people to not use paper or encourages people to not use paper, we're going to go out of business. Man, if they would have just taken that and patented that technology and really grown and developed it, people still use paper, but everyone who uses paper tends to use a screen as well. So if they could have had both of those markets, if they would have just taken the time to say, how does this work? What if we kind of restructure how we're organized? What if we spend the time and the money in there? And so one of the other things I want you to think about is like, okay, there's money in paper, so we don't want to spend it on this technology. There's money in film, so we don't want to spend it on a digital camera. What do you think about the electric car? I think it was about 20 years ago that GM created this whole fleet of electric cars, and they worked well. But then they kind of just all disappeared. People are afraid of electric cars because if people start buying electric cars, they're not going to buy gasoline. And we know that gasoline is one of the most powerful and controlling, I'd even say, markets in the world, right? We all have to buy gasoline. Even if we ride the city bus, gasoline is involved. Now, I know a lot of city buses are doing natural gas, things like that, but man, if 20 years ago they had electric vehicles that were working, imagine if they would have kept doing the research and development on that. Now, I think in 20 years will probably be more electric vehicles, but yeah. So there's a video that I would like you to watch. And so in a minute here, you can just go ahead and pause this, and the link will be in the assignment as well. And the video is about a company called Blockbuster. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Blockbuster. You may have had a membership at some point in your life, probably when you're younger, because as you know, there's only one Blockbuster left in the world in Bend, Oregon. A little company called Netflix came around, and Blockbuster actually had the chance to buy them for $50 million, but said, nah, their business model doesn't work. So I want you to watch this video and kind of figure out why it is the way it is. So go ahead and click that link.